American battery technology has shot up over $10 a share. Over the last 2.5 months, we've been covering this from $1 and it's tenfolded. This has been one hell of a rise, and it seems to be everyone is talking now about American battery technology. And in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly why this stock has pumped to $10 a share. I want to start off by saying congratulations to all the American battery technology shareholders. We have been in the trenches with this stock for 5 years on this channel, and it's incredible to think we've had a name change, a ticker symbol, change of exchange, CEO change. We were a dirt road and we became a fully fledged plant that produces. It's just been a remarkable run. It's been a joyful run. We've had our ups and downs. Those that remember where the share price was and the massive bear market, just that everyone went through, and we've been patient and been rewarded for that patience. We have seen on the last month it go over 300% up. And if you look at my previous videos, in July I was saying buy, buy, buy. This is fundamentally teed up now perfectly with the changes with Trump, the beautiful bill, the investment in lithium and the investment in battery recycling and all the stuff that is coming. It only made sense for the stock to go one place and one place only. And in all my videos, when I was saying buy at 1 and the price targets of 3 and then it became 4 and then it became 6, it's just continued to push on. And for those that watched the video last week, when we got to $6, I was expecting a cool off, and I feel like that would have came, but we got fundamental news. And that's the thing with these stocks. They're so beaten down, they're so low priced that huge fundamental news is going to pump. And this thing has been pumping because of the fundamental news and because of the market momentum and because of the charts. It's been a one hell of a ride. So as you can see at the time right now, we're at $9.72. It was over 10 in the pre-market. So if we look at here, we were only 5% up now, but at one stage we were at 10.50, but we've been higher than that throughout this week. You can see here we were over $10. We're building up support at these levels. We will look at the charts because the charts are telling us something interesting, but we need to talk about fundamentally what happened here. You can see this huge rise, and this happened in and around the $6, expecting $6, $7 in around that range. It was starting to look like it was going to pull back. The momentum was going, and then all of a sudden someone came along again. Ryan Meltzer's went, here's another rocket ship, see us later. Unbelievable. And this is the news that came out. American battery technology gains after completing the NEPA studies. We talked about this before in the video that this was coming down the line. This is a fundamental thing that has come out, and now we're pumping because of it. It marks a significant milestone for what the company describes as one of the largest critical mineral lithium projects in the United States. ABAT submitted all baseline reports to the US Bureau of Land Management. So over the past 2 years, American Battery Technology has conducted 21 studies across 14 different categories. And Rans went on to say he's extremely proud of the ABTC team for all their consultants that helped drive these 21 studies to completion over the past several years. So this has been several years in the making and has finally come out. The Tonopah Flats Lithium Project spans over 10,340 acres and reportedly contains 21.15 million tons of accessible lithium oxide. Huge. That is money in the ground effectively here. ABAT has also submitted a comprehensive mine plan for operations of the project, which is currently under BLM review. Now, we know what's going on with Trump. We know that he's all about America, American made. And I've always said it, been saying it for years. It's so silly, but American battery technology, just having America in the name, that is right up Trump's street. He's going to back this. There's no doubt. I fully expect all of these planning permissions, everything to come to fruition, and that is why I'm so bullish, because I feel like this is just going to be another rocket ship strapped to the back of this. And they're in the process of preparing to release a pre-feasibility study with detailed analysis of the project's technical and economic performance. Now, there is another company called Lithium Americas, which is also pumping pretty damn hard, and both companies are obviously being compared, as both companies are mining lithium from clay. Both are based in Nevada, so they're on each other's doorsteps, and they're both connected to the federal initiatives. So LAC is already digging though, where American Battery Technology is still in the feasibility stage. So they're doing the paperwork and have to get approval to do this. Think of it this way, Lithium Americas is building the house where American Battery Technology has all the plans to build the house. And if you actually look at a Lithium Americas Corp here, you can see on the last month it's up 190%, on the year to date it's up 203%, but it's worth keeping an eye on both. And as always, I like to talk about the negatives before we get into the charts. It has to be said that clay lithium extraction is still unproven at commercial scale. I don't really know of any good examples of it. So it's something that, while in theory it sounds great and it's been proven on a small scale to be perfect, it's not been proven as a full glazed commercial sale of it. So we have to be mindful of that. The way ABAT does it compared to the traditional method that we're used to on this channel, it's done through chemicals, which is a bit more expensive and it's a bit more trickier. But look, the technology seems to be there, so I don't want to be too like bearish on it, but it is something there that you have to potentially allow for issues to arise. What could be seen as a negative is the fact that all this is done mostly in China and other places where it is cheaper for labor. But then on the flip side, with currently under Trump's administration, it's all about in America, the tariffs outside. I feel like this could be an advantage point that it is in America. So we just have to be careful of that. Trump's tenure will come to an end and we'll have to watch all that closely. But let's rejoice in the good times for now without being too bearish. But that's something that we need to think about potentially in a few years. And I think it goes without saying, all of this realistically, even though they tripled earnings, we did the earnings report recently, it's still relatively not making money. So it's still a company that is getting caught up in the hype. Now, there's plenty of stocks on this channel that we cover and we've been invested in, and stocks that do remarkably well with high PE ratios, even companies that aren't making any money as such. It's nothing that I'm too scared of, but if the market, like we experienced when the previous bear market came, and I do feel like the markets are going to turn in the next sort of 3-4 months, potentially 6 months, maybe less, in and around that period, I feel like we're bubbling to a scary level. So with all that in mind, if the markets start to pull back, American Battery Technology undoubtedly will suffer. But right now, that euphoria is still in the stock. It's projecting the future gains that this could potentially make and the funding that it's receiving from the government. And for that reason, I'll continue to be invested in American Battery Technology. I'm going to continue holding my position and buy on significant red days. I think it's a very interesting speculative play, but it has got its risks. It's not like a core investment. I wouldn't be balls deep in it, put it that way, but it's definitely worth considering having this on your portfolio, in my opinion. Now we'll get to the bit that everyone wants to actually talk about: price targets. Where's this bad boy going to go? Well, look, we've been calling the $6, $7. We've been calling all the prices the way up. Every video, we've hit every single milestone that we've wanted to hit. It's been perfectly played. However, this news has pumped us to euphoria levels. So these were the levels when we were getting to the six. But one of the things I kept talking about was the MACD, and the MACD looks so strong. There's no signs of this turning over yet, which is very, very bullish and very encouraging. However, as you can see here, we're well overbought, and we've been well overbought now since about September 25th. So we're good 3 weeks of being in an overbought territory. When we got to the $6 here, I was fully expecting a turn, and we were slightly starting to bend over as we showed in the last video. But that fundamental news has come out, has just went boom. Now, where are we going to settle is the $1 million question that's on everyone's mind. We can see here we're still looking strong, but the MACD is sort of flatlining a bit. This is on the 4-hour chart, by the way. On the 1-hour chart, a sell symbol's come in, and that's the first time that we've seen a sell symbol since the 10th of October, which is when it was starting, in my opinion, would have turned. It would have turned there definitely, but we got a wee bit of a cool off and it's pushed on hard. But now this sell symbol's coming in. The MACD has crossed over on the 6th. We didn't quite get to that stage. Well, we did. Tell a lie, we did. On the 10th, when we were at that sort of $6-7 range, RSI, everything was saying sell off. This was starting to sell off. It was starting to cross over, starting to go down. News came out, shot us up. So we're crossing over now. And in my opinion, now without fundamental news, this will cool off. It just has to. I hate being the bearer of bad news, but it just has to. It was a phenomenal run. It has been a phenomenal run. And on the weekly chart, we're above the 200-day moving average. It's actually insane to even say this after such a rise that we're only entering a bull market, sorry. We're only entering that bull market now, which is phenomenal. It really, really is. It's actually really exciting when you think about that. The fact that on a weekly chart, we're only entering a bull market. We've been in a bear market this last month. That's something worth considering. Now, the RSI is saying we're overbought, but just like I said in the last video, the MACD shows strength. It shows like it's only starting. So potentially, but there's more to come. Potentially we could definitely could blow off a bit more. Why not? Let the good times roll. If you Google American Battery Technology, as I have done, loads of people are covering this. There's even other YouTuber and other channels now starting to pick this up as if they're the gurus or whatever. They've not been balls deep in the trances like the rest of us. So they've not witnessed the highs and the lows and the treats that this has been since back in October. We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows. We're nowhere near those highs anywhere soon, but this is very encouraging, fundamentally ticking all the right boxes now. I really like it. I really like the stock, and I'm just going to continue holding. Exact same as I said last week. I'm continuing holding. $6 to $10, lovely gains, 360, 70% or something up, unbelievable. At two positions, I definitely want more. Unfortunately, I did what I talked about in the last video, so my holdings had reduced. Nonetheless, I'm still extremely happy with my position. I'm still very happy to be up that amount. It's just been a incredible ride. I'm really just happy for everybody, really. But if we're looking at, where's the next level? Well, we can remove this. We can move this up now. It's safe to say that we're not going to fall down to those levels. There is your next, roughly, your next rough. Let's see. Yeah, I'd be fairly confident because you can see here there's a channel, the highs and the lows, bounce, 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 here, bounce. And then we dipped, and then here we try to break it. So naturally, you're going to go to 11. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit the 11 and then the pullback came because of this MACD's just throwing that little bit of uncertainty into the mix and the weekly chart looking rather bullish. That could easily be the case, but realistically, we're going to pull back. We're just going to pull back unless Ryan has another bit of magic up his sleeve to suggest perhaps the permits are approved or whatever, the stuff that was talked about. Any of that news comes out, we go again. Again, something that you don't really want to be missing out on. So I'm content to be buying the dips. If we do dip, chances are we're probably going to go down, maybe potentially to about 650 then, which we see is pull back about 30%. I feel like after a big 300% run, a 10% in theory dip from the lows or the highs, or sorry, the lows of last month, that's what it would feel like. 30% to your portfolio if you're buying at these levels. But to me, it wouldn't be a huge drop, but that would be definitely a top up level for me. And as you can see here, just like in the last video, the momentum really wasn't coming in. And that seems to be the same situation, really. There's not a lot of people buying at these levels. They're waiting for pullbacks. One thing I want to point out is the recent moves. If we look at BlackRock, they added a bucket load of shares, up 500% of their portfolio in Q2 2025. That's interesting, I feel. You can see here, they've all been adding Vanguard, Northern Trust. They've all been adding, apart from Hudson Bay. Unfortunately, Hudson, you've missed out here. But State Corp and whatever that name is, they've all been adding. That's hedge funds. The hedge funds know what's going on. You follow the smart money. Very interesting to see that they're all loading up. The only sales, insider sales that have happened has been Ryan Meltzer over the last 6 months, and I assume that's only just for his own personal gains. I don't think that's a sign of him not believing in the company or whatever. We're obviously in the Discord talking about it. We've had new members join the Discord. We've been putting in all the technical and stuff. We've been talking about all this here. We're looking for, all the different price targets. A lot of people missing out. A lot of people buzzing about it. A lot of people happy to be in it. This guy is fuck me dead. He's saying it's been incredible. Dropping voice notes, thoughts, where it's going to go. And even today, I'm saying, I'm afraid to say it, but it looks very, very strong. It just does. So if you want to get into Discord, the link's there. We're also doing the trading course for 50 notes. 50 notes. The link's working now. I think there was a problem last time. It is working now. We've had a few new members signing up. It's just a way of supporting the channel. It's £50, 60 odd dollars in USD. Supports the channel. You get lifetime access to the Discord. It's worth having a think about that as well. But I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and let the run continue.